So it has finally been confirmed. Sort of. After months of speculation, rumour, and guesswork, it has been confirmed. Sort of. That the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion is getting a remake. Now, I keep saying sort of because at the time of writing and recording this, no official confirmation has been released. Instead, the constant ongoing leaks just keep coming, so it's all but confirmed. This time around, some Reddit users were able to get some screenshots and other details directly from Virtuos' website. Virtuos are the developers behind the remake, and their involvement has been rumoured for quite a while, as doing remakes is kinda their thing. Now, looking at these screenshots, I gotta say, these images look pretty damn good. The visual quality is such a step up from Starfield, let alone Oblivion. The original Oblivion was released all the way back in 2006, which is a horrible thought, and it was released for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC. So obviously, things are going to look better. It's just how much better that has really taken me away. Despite these visual improvements, it still looks very much like Oblivion. Now, I know some people aren't entirely happy with the colour, it's a bit too realistic and brown according to some people, and I get that. But that doesn't really bother me because the locations still look the same. It's easy to recognise the Imperial City and the coast city of Anvil, which was my favourite city back in the day, and I'm really glad they didn't go with a full redesign, as I do have a lot of nostalgia for Oblivion. It was my first Bethesda game and the one that got me set off on RPGs and open world games. I've been playing video games for a while. I started gaming with the PS1, but Oblivion is the game that made me a gamer. The alien runes look as they do in my memory when I nostalgically think about them, and even the small details like the design of the hilt of this sword look the same, just crisper. Some stuff has changed, the design of the Imperial Legion armor is a bit different, and this goblin also looks very different, but they more look like a natural evolution of the design rather than a complete rework. For me, however, the best shot we have is that iconic Oblivion Gate. It is just gorgeous looking. It's the right amount of terrifying, awe-inspiring, and inviting. I remember the first time I saw the Kvatch Oblivion Gate and how excited I was to step through it and explore the terrifying hellscape. And looking at this one here, I'm getting that same feeling. I just cannot wait to come across my first Oblivion Gate and jump right back into things. Now we know the Oblivion remake is being made in Unreal Engine 5, not Bethesda's creation engine, which is a godsend because that has been shown its age for quite a while now. And visually it shows. The remaster looks so much better than any of Bethesda's recent games. Hopefully, if the remaster does well, it convinces Bethesda to either ditch the creation engine or give it a serious overhaul. But this new Oblivion is not just a bunch of new visual updates, there are a whole lot of improvements to gameplay as well. Now, to start, we are apparently getting a new redesigned HUD. Now, I had no problem with the original HUD in Oblivion. In fact, I kind of prefer it to the Skyrim one, but I do acknowledge that the Skyrim one was a bit more streamlined, so I understand the need to redesign the old Oblivion one. I just hope that when it comes to the menus at least, we can see our character when we're in the inventory screen, and that the world map we have looks more like the old in-world hand-drawn map rather than the bird's eye view one that we got in Skyrim. Combat is also getting a big rework, with apparently a big focus being put on stealth, archery, blocking, and how your stamina works. The original Oblivion's gameplay was a lot of fun at the time, as was Skyrim's, but as I said, it has been a while, they haven't aged the best, and a revamp is needed. I am particularly happy to hear that the remaster's archery is getting a rework, cause it sucked in the original. I always tried to use it, but ended up giving up, unlike Skyrim, where I spammed archery and stealth, pretty much like everyone else. In fact, the archery in Skyrim was based off of an Oblivion mod. So it is great to see that archery is going to be getting a step up in the right direction. Now it's the blocking that's garnered my attention a bit because while I couldn't find it, I definitely remember someone saying that a parrying system would be introduced. Now I have nothing against a parrying system, but personally I can rarely pull one off when they come up, so hopefully the remaster doesn't rely too heavily on parrying. Now I doubt the combat is getting a massive overhaul, even Avowed had similar gameplay. I imagine we'll just be getting a more refined version of what we saw in Avowed and what Skyrim had. Take the good and improve on it, and redesign or remove the bad. That's all that's needed. And I'm okay with that. I want a better version of Oblivion, not a brand new game. And if the combat was too different, I don't think I'd be that happy with it. Now, this is all we really have on gameplay. None of the leaks seem to mention magic as far as I could find. Magic was okay in Oblivion and much improved in Skyrim, but like a lot of stuff, it could be better. Personally, I really like the magic system in Avowed. Now, Oblivion doesn't need to copy that exactly. I don't think it needs the whole tome system that Avowed has, but if at least followed Avowed in the way it does its visuals for Magic, I think that would be great, because visually, Avowed's Magic is amazing. It would also be really great if Magic could be used in other ways to explore the world, like freezing water or other stuff like that. Now, like with Magic, there are a few other things that we are in the dark about. I really liked the story for Oblivion, from the main quest to the factions and the side quests. There were memorable fun moments and they all felt like proper quests. On the surface, they were the same as a lot of quests in a lot of open world RPGs, but they had depth and character. And oh my god, the faction quests were so much better than those in Skyrim. You had to fight your way up the ranks within each guild. You had to do the boring shit jobs at the start before you could rise up and actually become important to the organization. It made you feel like you earned your position at the top. It wasn't like the companions in Skyrim, where you join and then 30 minutes later you're being told, hey, you're being inducted into the secret werewolf group. You actually had to earn your spot at the top, and that was brilliant. On a side note as well, I do hope that we can become a werewolf in the remaster, because you couldn't do that in the original, and being a werewolf in Skyrim was brilliant. We also have no idea about the voice acting in the remaster. Oblivion's voice acting was something special. The acting made Oblivion what it was, as much as the design, gameplay, and story did. And losing those quirky, iconic voices could impact the game. However, I do imagine the voices will change. Famously, Oblivion only had 20 voice actors across hundreds of NPCs. This included specific characters like Uriel and Martin Septim, played by Patrick Stewart and Sean Bean, and the hundreds of random NPCs and DLC characters. This obviously meant that you heard the same voices a lot, so it's probably safe to say that there will be more voice actors lending their talents to the remaster. Hopefully, and this is a bit of a long shot, but I would love to see Patrick Stewart and Sean Bean come back. I thought Sean Bean was pretty good in the original Oblivion, and while Patrick Stewart wasn't amazing, I would like to see him take another crack at it. And if we are getting new voice actors, hopefully a few of the older ones can come back so they can voice specific iconic characters like Joffrey and Boris. Now, if there's one feature that I want changed in Oblivion, it is the classes and the leveling up, because they weren't that great. In Skyrim, to level up, all you had to do was level up any of your skills, which in turn would contribute to an overall experience bar. Once that reached the top, you would improve your health, stamina, or magicka, aka mana, and then you would pick a perk. In Oblivion, it was very different. Like with Skyrim, you needed to raise your skills to level up, but when you did, you could improve your attributes, which would in turn improve their respective skills and just make you all over better. So basically, more RPG elements, which I think is needed. I hope that the leveling in the remaster is handled as it was in the original Oblivion, but maybe with the perks from Skyrim added in, because I think that would be really good to have. Now, one thing I want gone from the remaster is the classes, because in Oblivion you could only level up if your major skills improved, and they were tied to your class, which you picked at the start of the game, and then you were stuck with. So let's say you pick a warrior class. You focus on heavy armor, all types of weapons, archery, and blocking, but you pick no magic. Then, after a few hours, you want to go full mage, but you don't want to lose any of the progress you made. In Skyrim, that isn't a problem, but in Oblivion, it is. You could change to full magic, that wasn't the issue, but your mage skills wouldn't contribute to leveling up. And if you don't level up, it means you don't get a stronger character, certain quests are locked off, and you get worse rewards for your quests. A lot of people really liked the classes in Oblivion because they felt it made the game more RPG focused, and I agree with that, but I think it limited off your sandbox experience. I think that's what Bethesda games do really well, throwing you into a world and letting you do what you want. So, in my opinion, keep the leveling system from the original Oblivion, but get rid of the classes. Or just don't have them affect leveling. Maybe they give you boosts to specific skills instead. Also, quickly, I hope that all the crafting, enchanting, and alchemy is more like it was in Skyrim than it was Oblivion. Enchanting and alchemy were kind of complicated in Oblivion, in my opinion, and crafting your own gear just didn't exist. So, hopefully, those mechanics are brought over from Skyrim, because I think that would make a lot of sense. Now, the final bit of leak news revolves around all of the DLC. If you played Oblivion, you know that there are two really great DLCs, a lot of middling ones, and one pretty bad one that did end up becoming an iconic meme. The last one is obviously the infamous horse armor, which even all this time later is still being made fun of and is going to be in the game if you get the deluxe edition. Now, this image is a bit hard to see, but we can see we're also getting some unique weapons and armor if you get the deluxe edition. I can't really tell if any of them are a reference to anything, but the left hand armor in the left hand side box reminds me a lot of the ones used by the watch captains in the Imperial City, but I could be wrong. I'd actually be very surprised if like the classic Dovahkiin look from Skyrim doesn't actually appear as an armor set, or at least the classic horned helmet isn't there, because I would be so surprised if no one thought, oh yeah, that would be good marketing. And when it comes to the rest of the DLC, apparently we are getting all of it, which I'm very skeptical of, because Oblivion had a lot of filler DLC. Of course, everyone remembers Knights of the Nine and the Shivering Isles. Both of these were brilliant. The Knights of the Nine saw you rebuild a holy knightly order across Cyrodiil, while the Shivering Isles saw you travel to another plane of oblivion, ruled over by the mad Daedric prince Sheogorath. Both of these were brilliant, and the Shivering Isles is still considered one of the best expansions ever made. Mehrunes Razor was pretty good because it allowed you to get the powerful Daedric artifact Mehrunes Razor, which had a chance of killing any enemy in one hit. But after that, it was just some extra houses themed around specific gameplay styles, some new spells, and unlocking an orrery, which gave you some boosts to your stats. These are all fine, but they're nothing to really write home about. Honestly, the remake only needs the Shivering Isles, the Knights of the Nine, and Mehrunes Razor. Although I do imagine the Orrery and the Spelltomes DLCs will be included easily because they kind of don't do much, so it just makes sense to put them in. I honestly also couldn't care about all the extra homes. The base game had enough homes already, each city had one, and all the factions gave you a house as well, so you just really didn't need it. That's everything we know from the leaks, along with my own speculations. The last bit of news is the release date. Apparently, it's going to be tomorrow, April 21st, with a shadow drop on Xbox Series, PC, and surprisingly the PS5. Also, apparently, it will be on Game Pass for all the Xbox players out there. I'll admit I'm a bit skeptical about the release date tomorrow. Other dates early in the year were rumored for release or announcement, but I really hope that I'm pleasantly surprised. I really want this remaster to be successful because if it is, it could mean a lot of good things for Bethesda. If Bethesda see their own games just done in a better way, hopefully it'll have a positive knock-on effect for their other games. Hopefully it'll have a positive knock-on effect for Elder Scrolls 6. Because if the Oblivion remaster does really well, and Elder Scrolls 6 is just another Bethesda game, that would be really, really bad for Bethesda, and I don't want that. But what about all of you? Are you looking forward to Oblivion Remastered? Are you going to get it? What do you hope has changed, and what should stay exactly the same? Let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, do give it a like and a comment because it's greatly appreciated, and it does really help this channel grow. Do check me out on Twitter, Medium, and TikTok, and please do subscribe to this channel to stay up to date on all of my content going forward. And with that, I shall see you all next time.